Good afternoon. And it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you to the Center for Online and Continuing Education's professional development session for today. And you have quite a treat ahead of you because we have pulled together truly a panel of experts to share today's topic with you. So I'm going to turn this over to Nicole. Thank you so much for joining us.
Just to kind of get us thinking and starting, thinking about what techniques do you use to enhance the online student experience, maybe from the faculty perspective and from the student perspective. So as Dr. Judy mentioned, we have our wonderful panelists today. This is just a little overview of our panel today. We want to make sure that we recognize and value the student experience learning online and how we can transition that into faculty knowledge and improving the student experience and student knowledge. So hopefully we can all learn from each other today as we explore the student panel. So on our panel, we have, if we go to the next slide, we have a list of our student panelists today. So we have Patricia, Ann, Krista, Tiffany, Hannah is just joining us a little later today, and Claudia. So I won't go too much into detail there. We also have 3 facilitators with us. We have Stephanie Aldana Alves, myself, Nicole Alfred, and Dr. Judy Summers. So this is an interdepartmental collaboration. Stephanie is from University Advising Services, and she has a lot of experience in student questions. Stephanie, do you want to talk a little bit about what you do with the Instagram Live?
Yes, thank you, Nicole. And I want to thank Nicole for having me here with you all today. I'm excited to learn from you and also share my experiences working with Instagram as a platform to connect with students and parents. So our department is really all about reaching students where they are. And so with that, we started an initiative this summer called University Advising Services Live, where I actually go live Tuesdays and Thursdays. This has been happening since the start of the summer. So it's Tuesdays and Thursdays to answer questions live for our students. As you can imagine, there have been a lot of concerns about what campus life and academic life is going to look like in the fall semester because of COVID. And so really creating that space for our students and meeting them where they are to join in and answer questions and ask questions and answer their questions via the Instagram Live feature. So for those of you who may not be familiar with how Instagram works, you have the ability to go live, essentially similar to the format we're on now, where you can have participants in the live session, and so they can type their questions in the chat to you. And so as the facilitator, that gives me the ability to respond to those questions, but they're watching a live recording of me answering those questions. It has been a great way to connect with our student body, our incoming students as well. University Advising Services works with incoming freshmen and sophomore students, well, incoming freshmen and sophomore students. And so we are working with that population very closely, especially through the summer and beginning of fall as they onboard to the university. So using this Instagram platform has just given us another way to connect with the students and has worked quite well for our office. So I'm happy to share any expertise later on in the session as we move forward here. Thank you, Nicole.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Stephanie. So yes, so that is a little bit about Stephanie, what Dr. Judy and I do at the Center for Online Continuing Education. You may have seen us in these professional development sessions before, is to kind of bring information to faculty, to students to help in learning online and teaching online. This question, what is a technique you learned to manage your online courses?
Krista says, I just need a quiet, as quiet as possible, private as possible area that is a designated area to study, so my family knows when I'm sitting there and I'm either in class or studying, doing homework. Is very helpful, essentially, when doing exams and someone comes home in the middle of it looking for me. I also text my family that they know when I am completely unavailable, i.e. exam, quiz time. I try to get access to the syllabus as soon as it is available, sometimes emailing the professor early if it's not readily available before the first week of classes. I like to order my books before class starts if necessary.
Okay, excellent. I think Claudia, you had your hand raised. Do you want to add to what I think Brittany read for you based on what you put in the chat?
Yes. Hi. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, actually. Yes. I agree with Anne. The first thing that I try to do is to contact my professor for the particular class that I'm taking to make sure that I understand exactly what is it that he's expecting from me, and then I try to follow the modules. Basically, just check and see what is it that is that the professor is gonna have for that particular week. So I try to do it in order. Whatever is it that he has first, I'll do it, and then I go to the second thing, and just make sure that I try to do it as soon as the professor posts the work required for that particular week. I don't like there's no. It's one thing that I will advise everyone is do not wait until the last minute to post something that or to do the work that the professor is asking, because sometimes you may have problems with internet or whatever, then you'll be in trouble. So yeah, try to do it as soon as the professor posts the request on the module for the class. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, we have Anne, and then Patricia added something in. So Anne, do you want to talk first, and then we can go to Patricia?
Sure. So following along on doing things as quickly as possible when a professor posts it, I think a really good technique is to, on every Sunday before the week begins on the Monday for your schoolwork, I recommend to make a schedule, make an agenda of what you have to do for the entire week. So you know what it is that you have to do. You have a idea of what you will be working on each day. And also, I recommend to, if you're taking multiple classes as a student, dedicate one day for one class and so on. So you're not all over the place doing like 4 classes in one day or something like that. It's like a key thing is to organize yourself, basically.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And then Patricia, did you want to go next?
Yes, hi. To actually add to what Anne and the other student, the other panelists said, yes. So basically, it's to organize yourself. Make sure that you email your professor ahead of time so you have an idea of what the syllabus is gonna look like. And like the other student said, set out a space for yourself. Let your surroundings know that you're actually studying, that you're taking a test, especially because of the proctor test that we actually take by doing online classes. We have to make sure that we are actually concentrated. Thank you.
So how can faculty help support your online experience as a student? Does anyone want to take that question?
If I could, this is Krista. Good afternoon. So far, I've had a good experience as far as response from professors, which is great. But there's a personal pet peeve, I guess I would say I have. The pre-recorded lectures can sometimes be a little bit of a setback, especially for something like accounting where it's difficult and you have a lot of questions where if you were in class, you can ask it on the fly as the professor is speaking. I've so far only had one professor who had a live lecture and it was really awesome. It's not being in class, but it really is helpful for those difficult subjects. And I just think it's something that if you know you're a professor that's teaching something that's very taxing and very difficult, you might want to see if it might make some of the other students happy. I don't want to say to change it because then I might make other people unhappy because they like being able to watch it whenever they want to. But for me personally, if I was able to ask a question when I needed to, it would be a great help.
Excellent. Thanks so much. Yeah, having that opportunity to talk to your faculty member live helps sometimes just to like get those those questions answered?
So basically, a good thing for professors to do is that on, let's say, on Sundays or Mondays, to send an announcement or an email or something saying what it is that we have to do for the week. Because there are some professors that don't send it since it's already stated in the syllabus. But you may have students who don't check the syllabus as regularly as others do. So I think it's a good thing to send a reminder at the beginning of every week of what it is that he's expecting us to do, what it is that you have to read or something like that, the things that are required to do for the week.
Excellent, excellent. That kind of helps you focus on what needs to get done for that particular week. Something that we do at the Center for Online and Continuing Education is in our Canvas template. We have a page that has the, the first do this, then do this. These are the things you're going to have to do this week, and we call it our to-do list. So if any faculty are interested in seeing a way how we implement it in our area is kind of through that, but the announcement feature kind of gets right into their email. And Anne, do you get your emails, your announcements in your email?
Yes, I get them in the emails too.
Nicole, if I may speak to this point as well, just for the perspective of working with an incoming freshman student. And so I imagine we have faculty on here from all areas and disciplines today, but I thought that the student panelists who mentioned the point of the live lectures for more difficult subjects was an excellent point. And so it makes me think about our freshman students who are just transitioning from high school, and a lot of them haven't developed those college habits yet of checking the syllabus. And so I think that being mindful of the population that we're working with, if you're thinking about a senior level student who maybe has already developed those essential college skills and knows to check the syllabus, but when we're talking about our freshman students who are in an intro class, I think that we have to keep in mind how we can create opportunities for them to practice those skills. So maybe initially getting them into the habit of looking at what is due for the week. Also having them pick a dedicated date and time for maybe those online classes that don't have a day and time attached to it. So thinking about what skills we need them to develop, even in this virtual sphere where it's almost even more important and imperative that they develop these skills. So just something I wanted to add to that conversation as well for our faculty who may be teaching those 1,000, 2,000 level classes.
Excellent, that's perfect. We do have a faculty member who has raised his hand. Dr. Grunfeld, if you like, we can unmute your mic for you.
Great conversations this morning. One of the things that I found very helpful for the online students is on the very first day, I ask students, of course, to introduce themselves, and one of the questions that they have to answer is if they are procrastinators. I teach junior and senior level courses, and if they say that they are procrastinators, what I do is I pair them up. Everybody's in a peer group from the very first day, and then I switch those peer groups based on someone saying to me that they start assignments a couple of hours before they're due, and they're up at the midnight hour, and of course you don't get the best work that way. So those students who say that they are not procrastinators, I pair them up and I have them remind each other as to when these assignments are due. Clearly, when you have over 100 students, it's very difficult to send email messages to each one saying, don't forget, this is due in 3 days, or don't forget, this is due in 4 days, or whatever. So it's their responsibility in their peer groups to remind each other. I sometimes find it strange that students who are accounting majors and, who are really good with sharp pencils and accounting methods will have very poor skills when it comes to keeping a calendar. And when something is due, in my mind, if I give you 2 weeks notice, don't start working on it a couple of hours before it's due, and then complain that the assignment is closed. So by getting peer groups to work together, I find that I'll ask, how did this work? Did anyone share with you on Monday that this is due on Thursday or Friday? And that's very helpful. it really is not. There are so many different things you have to do to support the online experience, because in class it's so easy to just do remind people, but online I find that you have to really provide more support with reminders more frequently. The student who mentioned those weekly assignments, I think that's, I do that, and I find that very helpful, because I'll remind someone on a Sunday night that something is due on Thursday or Friday. So that was a great comment. And
Excellent.
that's about it. Thanks.
No, that's really great. Thank you, Dr. Grunfeld. We do have Dr. Gosteva.
Good morning, everyone. So first of all, thanks all for participation. I believe it's really important to know the feedback and point of view of faculty and the students as well. And the thing that I wanted to say is, first of all, the most important thing for the students is to know their schedule. So we already talked about weekly updates, and to make syllabus available, I want to tell that the most helpful is to have both of them, syllabus of the course and actual weekly schedule on the front page of the course. So if you can see it right away, you open the course and you can see the schedule, you know what you're doing. Second thing is for sure reminders, and we already talked about that. And one more thing that we didn't mention before, students have to know their grades. So as they have the assignment, they need to have the grade for the assignment in few days. And if they do not know where they are. So if we have the grade book up to date, students really know where they are. And after each assignment that is important for the course, for the final grade, like important quiz, important test, and etc., I do go over their roster and see if I have anything missing, like students miss the assignments and etc. And I email those students, because probably they miss it by accident, like they had special family situation, anything that could happen in our everyday life, you know. And for those emails, I really have something like 70% of emails responses from my students, and we can fix it after that. So it is very important to go over the situation and see what is going on in your class. If you do not, at the end of the term, you can say, okay, these students missed test 2, test 3, and he still has the positive grade for the course because he doesn't have zeros in the grade book. And after that, you post those zeros and the student is surprised. So what is going on? I had B. So grade book and make it up to date. That is one more thing.
That sounds so good. These are really, really, really good. It looks like we're getting a lot of connections between the faculty and the student perspective. We have that accountability idea of the peers. Krista said was a good idea on having the grades. So thank you guys for sharing. I think we have one more hand raised. Dr. Richardson.
It says, I encourage students at the beginning of the term and throughout the term to reach with any issues instead of waiting until close to the end of the course when they realize their grades is not as high as they might like. She also adds, time management is often behind most other issues encountered in coursework. Most times before the deadline means more time to deal with personal or technical issues and get help on the material from the instructor.
Absolutely. I think that really messages what our student panelists were saying at the beginning on how they set up their week. Make sure that they have the to-do, that they understand, what day and time, and to what Stephanie was saying, having maybe, a date set for that particular online course. So I think that's a really, really good point. Dr. Gustava, did you want to add one more thing and then we'll wrap up to Richardson?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell one more thing about the grades postage and to talk about the problem at the time when the problem happens, because the thing is, usually I remind my students to review the grade book after the midterm on a weekly basis. And if they have any questions or concerns, ask me, because it's going to be too late one day before the final exam.
All right, so Dr. Richardson.
Okay, first, thank you to COCE for offering this, and thank you students for letting us know what you think. I just want to say I saw a recording of a student panel, I believe it was last spring, and I took suggestions from those students in that panel and incorporated into the new course I'm developing this summer with Judy Summers. So thank you. And thank you for the suggestions already. I'm taking notes, and I'm going to share this with my own students, saying this came from other students. So with that, to elaborate, students who are listening, I want to emphasize that we do care about your progress, and we can't help. We can help in a structural way, but we can't help you personally unless you reach out to us personally. So I wanted to elaborate on my suggestion where I reach out and say to students, please let me know what's going on. I know it's hard. I know sometimes you feel like you don't want to share something personal. You may be uncomfortable. But remember, your information you tell us, you're only telling us. We're not sharing it, send it to us private. We're not sharing it with other students. And we can't help you if you don't let us know you need help. So if you reach out early, even if it's just, you're taking too many classes and you have a job that's a lot of work, besides all this other craziness that's going on. So even if it's just something that you think is ordinary, reach out. We have suggestions. We have time management suggestions. There are resources on campus we can gear you towards. So if you wait until the end of the term and then say, oh, by the way, for the last 12 or 16 weeks, I've had all these issues that affected my progress, our options to help you are limited. When you reach out early, we have more options to help you. When you reach out at the end, especially if you're not passing the course, we can't even give you an incomplete based on university rules. So please reach out. Please trust that we are here to help you and reach out. With that in mind, one other tiny thing. I know we've been telling about, letting students know if their grades aren't, sending them announcements and reaching out. Someone may have mentioned this already, but I want to be sure for faculty, there is a feature in Canvas gradebook where under each assignment, you could message students who did not get below a certain grade, but also got above a certain grade. So after every assignment, you can go in and say, hey, great job, you got an A. Wonderful. Or you can go back and say, you didn't get a passing grade. What can I do to help? And students repeatedly tell me, wow, I've never, I don't have people do that. And thank you for reaching out on individual assignments too. You send it to a group of students, but it comes to them individually. So thank you all. Looking forward to hearing more feedback.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I do want to see if our students have anything else they would like to add just before we get to some more faculty responses. Please.
So I wanted to go ahead and echo Dr. Richardson's thoughts as well. In advising, I always see this where students will come to us at the very last minute towards the end of the semester and then divulge all of these personal things that they were experiencing for the semester. And while warranted, the question is always, did you communicate that with the faculty? And more often than not, the answer is no. And I tell them at that point, it's a little too late more often than not. So I wanted to also affirm that thought. And then also share that from an advising perspective, we are telling the students to communicate with the faculty if they have any questions, to build those relationships, emphasizing how important it is for them to create those networks. And so one thing that I know from advising is that the students incredibly appreciate when their faculty reaches out to them, as Dr. Richardson shared. And so I think that is a great practice this summer, meeting the students where they are via Instagram and just reaching out to them sometimes to see how they're doing via our tools. We have gotten so many responses back where the students have just said, I'm okay, I don't need anything now, but thank you so much for reaching out to me. It really is something that they appreciate. So great work there.
Absolutely. We're getting some comments in the chat that reiterate that appreciation for those messages. I know I'm in a doctoral program, and I know even at my level of education, still having a faculty member reach out to me and just seeing where I am because they know I work full time really is that personalized, that humanized approach that we've been talking about. So that's really good. So what I think, does anyone else have any other comments? Students, I think Claudia, is that your hand?
Yes, that is my hand. I just want to add something else, that Dr. I think it was Dr. Gosteva who said it, that it is very important when we reach out to the professors when we have questions or problems, because believe it or not, some of the professors teach us more than one class, and then when you become kind of like a pain because you come constantly emailing the professor or asking questions, when you take another class from them, they know you, and then they know that you gonna be the same type of student that you were before, emailing the professor and asking the questions. So yeah, do not hesitate to reach out to the professor when you are not understanding something. Do it as early as possible, because as the other professors were saying, it is essential to know what is it that is going on, so this way they can help the students early enough where they can still pass the class.
Okay, perfect. So I don't see any other hands, I think, but please feel free to let us know, what your comments or questions are, and we can unmute so you can have a dialogue. I think we'll go to the next question, if that's okay. For the students, what do you guys think it takes to succeed online? I know we talked a little about the techniques and things we do, but is there anything we want to add with this question?
Yes. So I believe to do good in online classes to succeed, you need as a person to have discipline over what you choose to do and what you choose not to do. Because if you are a procrastinator, for example, as it was said before, you have to get into that habit of doing things in time and whatnot, so it doesn't haunt you at the end of the semester when final grades are due and you can't do anything to get your grade. So I think it requires discipline, and it's all about timing and all that in that aspect.
Excellent. We'll have Claudia, and then or Krista, did you want to?
Okay, so yes, I just wanted to quickly say I'm actually a mother. I'm returning to school, so my daughter's actually in college the same time as me. So something that I notice is not just self-discipline, but you have to be realistic with yourself. Your first semester in college, you do not need to try to take 5 classes. You're not ready for it. You don't even know what you're doing yet. Pace yourself. Talk to your advisor. Your advisor is a very important person in your life. That is like your college best friend, and really utilize them. But yeah, be realistic with yourself. Know what you can accomplish. Look at how much working hours you plan on doing while you're in school. How much time can you actually realistically designate to study? You have to be real with yourself. Don't lie to yourself, because you're setting yourself up for disappointment and frustration, and you can't solve it after you paid for class. So you're just compounding things on top of yourself in this new environment, and it's just too much too soon. If you have to start that first semester with 2 classes to just see how you can handle it, unless you got some other factor like a scholarship that says you can't, I think that's the best way to go. Be realistic with yourself. Don't put pressure on yourself that's not necessary. You have your whole life to go to college. Don't kill yourself to do something you can't do.
That is so beautiful, Krista. Thank you so much for sharing. And then we do have Claudia who has her hand up as well.
No, what I was saying is that I'm like Krista. I actually returned to school 30 years later, from the day that I graduated from high school, and it was rather challenging for me, but I still did it. And I guess through my AA, I did go to classes. Taking my classes at school, I mean at the college, but my bachelor degree has been everything online, and the key of my success has been being disciplined. Absolutely disciplined and organized. You have to organize yourself. It is possible. If I can do it, I'm 56 years old. I'm a full-time mother, full-time. I have a full-time job, and I also care for my granddaughter. let me tell you, it is possible, but do pace yourself. Do not take 5, 6 classes when you know you cannot do it. I've been doing it 2 class each semester, and I'm graduating at the end of the year. Yeah, humbly saying, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. That's incredible. And then we also have Patricia with her hand up, and then we'll leave it open for more questions. Patricia?
Yes. Hi, Nicole. I do believe that the successful that I have had in online classes has been my discipline as well. I am a full-time mom and I have a full-time job. And when I started it at FAU, I did a mistake because I took one of those um, the advanced classes that you only do like in the 8 weeks. And even though I did that, I passed. So I know it's difficult. My kids are small, but you can do it. I mean, even if I have to study at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., you need to set yourself to do it. It's hard. It is hard, but we can do it. I mean, this is my 5th semester now, and I am very proud of myself that I went back to school after 15 years now. So, yeah, I'm 40 years old, by the way.
No,
Thank you
absolutely.
all.
I
Thank
think
you.
what this really helps with faculty is recognizing what kind of students are in their classes. So it's not just the 18-year-olds who are coming out of high school. There's a wide spectrum of students that we have in these online classes, and we just don't know. So we can't make that assumption that it's their time management because they're maybe incoming freshmen, or it could be a multitude of different things. And I think we're learning that together today. Just seeing how everyone is, handling how they learn and teach online.
I wish that I could have some of you speak to my freshman students and have them hear everything that you all are managing along with your classes. I wrote in the chat that you're amazing, and I really mean that. I mean, I wish it would be so amazing to have individuals like yourselves mentor our 18 and 19-year-olds who are just starting this journey, because like you said, it is possible, but it requires a lot of self-discipline, time management, and these are skills sometimes that they are still working on, right? And the advisors are here to help them, but I would just love for more students to be able to hear this narrative. It's very impressive. Kudos to you.
Absolutely. And this time has flown by. So we actually only have 5 minutes left. I do want to give everyone the opportunity to kind of say what if they have any last minute things that they want to say to anyone, or any last minute comments or questions that maybe we can either gather and ask our student panel to answer, maybe via email and send it out to everyone. Is there any last minute comments or items?
So there is a thing that I wanted to say about the schedule and being successful in a class. We have perfect examples of moms and even grandmoms who can do it. And I want to tell a few things about that. That was my personal experience of our crazy life this spring term. I realized that I have 2 kids of this that are at school, and one of them is 8 years old, and I need to teach her by myself because they do e-learning at school. That means that's totally like it's under the control of parents, under the parents' control. And as an addition to her, I have also my classes and my 350 students. And changing between the tasks helped a lot. Switching the schedule from the morning to my kid to the afternoon for my kid helped a lot. So you need to be very flexible and see and find the time for each thing in your life and your schedule. And it will help, because if you try to do everything at once, you will be overwhelmed in 3 days and just say, guys, I cannot do it. So you need to be very flexible and very creative, and switch between the tasks. It really helps.
Absolutely. All right, we got a couple minutes left. I just want to say this has been absolutely fantastic. I get hearing the faculties and students and kind of having this flexibility and this understanding and this, the humanization of, student faculty teacher relationships. I think has been really, really valuable in today's session, and hearing from both sides has been super, super helpful for me. And kind of I'm writing down all of these tips that I think are so excellent. I do want to thank everyone for their time today, being with us and kind of exploring this journey, especially in the last few semesters with the transition. And hopefully, as we mentioned, we can just continue being flexible, being open, and being there and talking, having a dialogue with students and faculty, I think is super important. So thank you guys so much for being with us. Are there any last comments that I didn't see in the chat, or anyone who wants to unmute and say any last comments?
I would like to join with Nicole and thank these amazing panelists for their contribution to our success. So thank you all. And it looks like Renee would like to speak again, so I'll turn my mic off. Thank you.
Hi there. I just wanted to say thank you, and also to the students to reiterate, to break your tasks into manageable chunks. I teach in accounting, which is essential. We work on checklists. For any of you who are in technical fields, checklists and scientific fields are required. So, but even if you're in, say, a liberal arts major, make a checklist, and also set your own personal deadlines on your own calendar in advance of the professor's deadline. So if the professor's deadline's on a Thursday, set yours for the previous Thursday, for example. All of that goes in line with the excellent suggestion from the students regarding time management, but that's just something specifically I tell my students. So thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It is 1 o'clock, so we hit that time. I'm super, super grateful for our students. I wish we could all give them a round of applause. I think there's a clapping emoji if you want to put your clapping emoji on, just to give them a round of applause for that. So really, really, really grateful for everyone being here today. And we'll have this online. Yep, there's a couple people getting that emoji clap going. We definitely appreciate the faculty's time for joining us today. But it was a fabulous, fabulous job. Thank you guys so much.